Hi, how do you use van wel and van niet in Dutch? You may have already seen it somewhere, just like Belgian, who asked this question on this channel, and we're going to find the answer in this video. What is this van wel and this van niet? It is something you use with specific verbs to give a reaction or an answer to a question. For example, ik denk van wel, or hij zegt van niet. For example, do you think he went to the beach? Then you can answer, ik denk van wel. It's an answer or a reaction to something. And what does it mean? I think so, or I think he did, or yeah, he did, I guess. So it can mean a lot of things in English. You have a lot of variations to translate this ik denk van wel, because it's an answer to something that was said before. Hij zegt van niet. You could say so if here, I did something really extraordinary. And then you say, maar hij zegt van niet. But he says you didn't. Or, but he said you didn't do anything extraordinary. So it's a reaction to a statement or an answer to a question. Which verbs can you use this van niet or van wel with? Well, here are the most common ones. So that's denken, to think, zeggen, to say, geloven, to believe, vrezen, to fear, bang zijn, to fear, again, vinden, to find, but here it's more to think, vermoeden, to suspect, and then menen, also to think, to have the opinion of. Alright, and these verbs all somehow relate to beliefs or opinions. So that's when you can use van niet and van wel. Alright, and what is the difference between ik denk het wel and ik denk van wel? Well, that's a good question. Some verbs in Dutch need an object, or almost always need an object. For example, begrijpen. In English, if you say, I understand, that's perfect English. But if you say in Dutch, ik begrijp, it doesn't sound right. Someone like a native who would hear that, he would ask, well, what do you understand? Wat begrijp je? And typically you would simply add a het. Ik begrijp het. You can also add other things like ik begrijp wat je zegt. I understand what you say. But you need some sort of an object. Alright, other verbs are zien or denken. There are some cases in which you don't need to add anything. For example, ik zie, I see. But this you would only use it in a context that when you've been blind for 10 years and then suddenly you see. Or and then, well, it's something totally new, and in that context only you would use ik zie without het. In English, you don't need this het, for example, just to say, I see. Ik zie het in Dutch. So what is the relationship with this van niet and van wel with this het? Well, it's the answer to the question ik denk het wel or ik denk van wel. Denk uses het, as we've learned, and this het, ik denk het wel, means more or less the same as ik denk van wel. Alright, and do all the verbs of opinion that we've seen, the list there with denken, zeggen, geloven, do all of these verbs use het as well? Do they need an object? Unfortunately not. You will have to learn them case by case. For example, ik ben bang and ik vrees het. ik ben bang, I am afraid, or well, I have fear. Not a really good translation, but okay. And ik vrees het, I fear so. Why is there a het with ik vrees and not with ik ben bang? They mean more or less the same. Well, you have to learn them case by case. Alright, one last use before the end of this video is that van wel can also be used in a typical case, and it's this one. Het is een toename van wel 100%. It's an increase of up to 100%. And in that case, you can also use van wel, but it means of up to. And that doesn't have anything to do with the verbs. So remember, some verbs of opinion can use this van wel or van niet as a reaction or as an answer. And some of these verbs use het as an object and some don't. And then you can simply use het wel instead of van wel. Alright, don't forget to subscribe and see you in another video. Tot ziens!